NBA basketball season is in full swing. We have finally gotten a chance to get a glimpse at all of the teams in the NBA so far this season, and it's been interesting. Tonight we have four good games: Celtics versus Wizards, Spurs versus Mavericks, Thunders versus Nuggets, and a pretty good game that went down to the wire between the Timberwolves and the Kings. It's your boy Big Bro. We're gonna get right into it after the intro.
Thank you for tuning in to the number one place for your basketball fix, NBA Central, hosted by the Cognac Boys.
All right, basketball fans, welcome to NBA Central After Hours. It's your boy, Big Broski. Getting home from work, deciding to jump on here and talk about the games that occurred tonight. Go ahead and join me in the conversation in the comment section down below. And you already know, like, comment, and share. And, of course, hit us up at NBA Central Pod, wherever you receive your social media. Listen, tonight was an interesting night in the NBA. I've been noticing something, man. Teams, even though Boston in game one of the NBA season lit up the scoreboard from three, teams are kind of rusty from the 3-point line. The Denver Nuggets game, which we'll talk about later, it was just bad. The Nuggets couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, just missing every three, pretty much every three that they took. But first game of the night, it was only 4 games tonight, so we're going to touch on all of them. When it's a heavier NBA night, we'll only discuss a couple of games and run over the scores. But first game of the night, the Boston Celtics and Washington. Boston, of course, took care of business there. Washington is just atrocious. I've seen some of the highlights from that game. It was just brutal, man. These guys look like the bad news bears out there. Like, if you're a Washington Wizards fan, I feel bad for you, bro. Like, they've never really been that good of a team. But for the last 2 or 3 seasons, it's been like as bad as it's ever been for Washington. We'll talk about that game. Spurs fall to the Mavericks 120-109. We got to see a couple of new faces on those teams, respectively. You got to see Chris Paul for the Spurs. You got to see Harrison Barnes for the Spurs. And, of course, you got to see Klay Thompson, who had a pretty good game for the Mavericks. Thunder versus Nuggets. Man, the Oklahoma City Thunder, bro. They just look like they're poised to take a step forward in the West, as well as just like putting their stamp all over the Western Conference, bro. This team is really well put together, and if health holds up, even though they already have a couple of injuries to start the season, but if their health holds up, the Oklahoma City Thunder might just be at least the Western Conference champions when it's all said and done, and playing for a championship at the end of the season. And the game of the night, the Timberwolves and the Kings. The Timberwolves pull it out 117-115 with 2 clutch free throws from Anthony Edwards at the end of the game to seal that one. So the Celtics, let's talk about it. Tatum and Brown taking care of business. Jason Tatum with 25 points and 11 rebounds in 29 minutes to lead the way for the Boston Celtics. Jaylen Brown tossed in 27 himself. It was just a good game from the NBA champions. They're 2-0 now. 2-0 for those guys. And they did hit 17 out of 45 threes, so they picked up right where they left off. We already know that their head coach wants them to shoot as many threes as possible. Don't be surprised if they average between 40 and 50 threes a game this season. But as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown go, so goes the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum, 3 for 11 from 3, 6 assists, 25 points, 9 for 20 from the field. Al Horford at 20 minutes gave you nothing, but they don't really need much from Al Horford. Al Horford is just a locker room guy, a role player that hits big shots when they need them, but not every night. Drew Holiday, 1 for 4 from the field, 7 points, 1 assist, 3. But the stats don't really tell the whole story of what Drew Holiday means to this team. He's one of those defensive stoppers. He goes out there and guards their best players on the perimeter every single night. So those 7 points. Derek White, though, we already know this season they're expecting him to take a step forward offensively, attack the basket, shoot more threes, and he did so again tonight with 19 points, 6 for 11 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists from Derek White. And then you had Jaylen Brown, 10 for 20 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, 8 rebounds, and 27 points. The bench contributed Peyton Pritchard, even though last season he was kind of in and out of the lineup, I think he's going to be more of a stalwart for this team this year. He gave you 15 off the bench, 5 for 10 from 3, 5 for 11 from the field, and then the rest of those guys contributed as well. The Boston Celtics, they basically had an easy night tonight, man. The Washington Wizards, oh my God. Jordan Poole was okay, though. He was all right. 26 points for Jordan Poole, 9 for 17 from the field. But Kyle Kuzma didn't give you much. 6 for 16 from the field, 12 points. The rookie, Sar, Jesus, 1 for 7, 2 points. And that's the number 2 overall pick for you guys out there, man. He has to do a lot better than what he did. Carrington as well, only 3 points. You got Valanciunas giving you points off the bench with 18. But that was about it. If you're a Washington Wizards fan, I feel bad for you. It's going to be another long season. Maybe they can come up on Cooper Cup this next NBA draft, because they will be in the running for the number 1 overall pick. Maybe they'll get an Ace Bailey as well. Who knows? But at the end of the day, if you are a Washington Wizards fan, it's just tough to watch them play basketball. There was a stretch where they just couldn't even. It was just, I can't even describe to you how bad this possession was, where they just passed the ball around, dribbled the ball off their foot. One guy ended up picking the ball up off the ground, trying to go behind the back, lost it, dribbled to the corner, and shot an air ball. What up, Nas? I see you, baby. Let me know how you feeling about these games. If you have any type of cable, most cable providers are giving you the free preview of League Pass. This is my favorite time of the year where you get to watch all the basketball games for free on NBA League Pass. And then, of course, I just pay for it. It's cheaper than it was in the past. You can get League Pass for about $100, $110. The next game of the night was on TNT. You got to see the San Antonio Spurs and the Dallas Mavericks go at it. Southwest Division foes. We're wondering how the San Antonio Spurs are going to look. Some people are expecting the Spurs to maybe make the playoffs, maybe make the play-in. I just don't see it in a loaded, tumultuous Western Conference. It's terrible. What's good, Josh Alstrom? It's terrible to be in the Western Conference, my guy. Like, you just don't know what you're going to you do know that you're going to have a dogfight every single night. So the Mavericks and the Spurs was a pretty good game. At half, the Mavericks are actually down to the Spurs at halftime, but they took a fourth quarter in which they went 40-31. They won that third quarter 40-31, and in the fourth quarter 33-29. The Spurs just didn't have enough for this team, and we got to see what Klay Thompson looked like in another jersey. Man, that was crazy to see. It's Klay Thompson out of the Golden State uniform. He's no longer a splash brother for there. But hey, I'm pretty sure the Dallas Mavericks are happy with what they saw from Klay Thompson tonight in 26 minutes. He gave you 7 for 13 from the field, 6 for 10 from 3, 7 rebounds to go along with that, 22 points overall. And then, of course, Luka Doncic does what Luka Doncic does. He did shoot 25 shots. That was inefficient, in my opinion. 9 for 25, just not good. But he gave you 10 rebounds, 8 assists, and 28 points overall. Kyrie Irving, kind of quiet tonight, 6 for 17 from the field for him, 3 for 7 from 3, but he did give you 15 points. Gafford with 9 points and PJ Washington with 11. And then off the bench, led by Derek Lively and Jaden Hardy doing his thing as well. 11 points from Hardy and 15 points and 11 rebounds for Lively off the bench. So you know that Dallas feels good to get that first win at the crib against Chris Paul and your boy Wembanyama, who struggled tonight. 5 for 18 from the field, 1 for 8 from 3, and that's just not gonna cut it. If I got a dude that's almost 8 feet tall shooting 8 threes and only making one of them, like, come on, man. Come on. Like, Wembanyama, you got to work from the inside out, not the outside in. And that was probably my only concern about this guy coming into the NBA, is that Victor Wembanyama is more of a guard in a big man's body, and there's nothing wrong with that. The NBA has evolved where KD's 7 feet, Joel Embiid is 7 feet, even Jokic in the 7 foot range is shooting threes. But at the end of the day, man, you're the biggest guy on the court. There's no reason for 8 out of your 18 shots to be 3-pointers, and you've only making one of them. And you didn't even get a double-double. You had 9 rebounds. 17-9 is not going to cut it for the supposed face of the franchise, the supposed future face of the NBA. Victor Wembanyama got to bring it, bro. He got to bring it more. Let me see how many blocks that this man had tonight. And he only had one block. Like, come on. When we talk about the Oklahoma City game, you're gonna hear from about what happened with Chet Holmgren tonight. But Victor Wembanyama did not impress me tonight, and neither did Chris Paul. I know Chris Paul is long in the tooth. I know that my man is in year 20. So I don't expect him to do much, but I do expect for him to have these young guys ready to go, and they just didn't have it tonight. Now, Jimmy Sochan had a good game. Champagne, he had a good game. He 7 for 12 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, 18 points. I didn't even know who this guy was, but he had that corner three going tonight. But you need Victor Wembanyama to have a much more aggressive and impressive game than he did tonight. And he just didn't bring it. He didn't bring it tonight. Off the bench, you didn't get much from these guys either. Stephon Castle, the rookie, with 8 points, 3 for 7 from the field. And then you had Johnson with 7 points off the bench, Collins with 5 in 14 minutes. At the end of the day, San Antonio's a young team. They will give you a dogfight. Some of these teams that aren't as good as Dallas are going to be in for a long night when they face San Antonio. They're going to scratch and claw and give you a fight. But tonight just was not their night for the season and home opener for the Dallas Mavericks. But a good game. The score doesn't indicate it because the second half, the Oklahoma City just took off. But Oklahoma versus Nuggets, these guys finished 1-2 in the West with identical records, with OKC taking the head-to-head matchup versus them last season to finish number 1 in the West last season. But tonight, let me tell you guys, Chet Holmgren was killing them boys. That man was 11 for 18 from the field. He didn't make any threes. He was 0 for 5 from 3. But you see the difference here? He took 5 threes out of his 18 shots. Only 5 of them were threes, whereas Victor Wembanyama took 18 shots and 8 of them were threes, and he just didn't have it. He also had 25 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocks. Wemby had 1 block tonight. Chet Holmgren had 4, and keep in mind he's going against a really good Denver front court with your boy Jokic out there. Shout out to Chet Holmgren, who's definitely the player of the night, in my opinion, for everything that he did for the Oklahoma City. He was out there blocking shots, getting rebounds, getting assists. Missed every 3 that he took, though. I got to point that out. Jalen Williams with a solid game as well. He had 12 points, 5 for 16 from the field, though. Not really efficient. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 11 for 24 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, 28 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Like, what else can you say about SGA? That man is smooth as cocoa butter out there, bro. You cannot rush this guy. You cannot get him to play ahead of schedule. He does all the little things correctly. He has the mid-range. He has the long range. He's going to get you assists. He's going to get you rebounds. And he hears all the chatter. People expect him to be the MVP this year. They expect the Oklahoma City Thunder to go out there and not only just make it to the Western Conference Finals, but to win the NBA championship. And he hears all that, and he delivered tonight. Isaiah Joe and Lou Dort did a little bit. They chipped in with 75 points. And then Aaron Wiggins off the bench had himself a night, 7 for 9 from the field with 15 points. He looked good out there. He had a play where he hit him with the spin move to the basket layup toward the end. Every time Denver tried to make a run, they shut it down. Oklahoma City is ready, at least right now, based on game 1, to make a run in the West. And let me tell you, the doggone the Denver Nuggets just didn't look like they had it tonight, bro. I don't even know what to tell you. They were 7 for 39 from 3. Now, to put it into perspective, Oklahoma City was 8 for 39 from 3, but they took 101 shots because Denver took 99 shots. It was one of them games where like it was just poor shooting, and Oklahoma City came out on top because they wanted it more. They had more hustle, more heart. That boy Chet really was the reason why they got this win. Russell Westbrook is so washed. It sucks to see it. 2 for 10 from the field, 1 for 6. I mean, come on, Russell Westbrook. 6 points. 1 for 6 from 3. It was nasty. It was nasty. The Denver Nuggets bench was atrocious. They were atrocious. And as a team, they only put up 87 points, period. 102 points is not a lot in today's NBA, but Jesus, 87 points? in your season opener, and it makes me think about what Mike Brown was talking about in the preseason, where he said that his team just looked soft. It looked like they weren't ready to in the preseason. It just looked like they weren't ready. They were out there just jogging, not putting maximum effort, and it's carried over so far to the season. Like, this is your season opener and your home opener, and they didn't score more than 87 points in front of their home crowd. Just crazy for the Denver Nuggets. Crazy. Aaron Gordon had 12 points. Michael Porter Jr. had 15. Jokic had a triple-double. What else is new? 16 points, 13 assists, and 12 rebounds. But Jamal Murray, 4 for 14 from the field, 2 for 6 from three, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 12 points. And then Christian Brown, 16 points, but 0 for 3 from three. Like, at one point, Oklahoma City just stopped guarding the three-point line. They just gave them everything they wanted. But it was a great game as it, either way, to see Oklahoma City go out and take care of business. Chet Holmgren is looking like he's going to take a step forward. He's put on a little bit of weight. He said he's eating 3.5 meals a day and 2 protein shakes. I think he's going to be a strong candidate, man, out in the West for like maybe Defensive Player of the Year. My man had 4 blocks tonight. I expect him to continue to do the same thing if he stays healthy. And then, of course, I got to mention my boy Alex Caruso. He did have 4 assists today, and just did the little things. 6 rebounds, only took 2 shots. But we know, as Chicago Bulls fans out here in Chicago, what Alex Caruso brings to the table. But the game of the night, I just finished watching this game. The Minnesota Timberwolves improved to 1-1 as they defeat the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento, 117-115, as Anthony Edwards hit a pair of free throws to secure the game with about 2.5 seconds to go. And this game was up and down, back and forth all night long, but it was a victory behind Julius Randle, newly acquired Julius Randle, 13 of 17 from the field, 5 of 6 from three, 33 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists for him. And then Anthony Edwards, 32 points, 10 of 24 from the field, 5 for 15 from three. He said he was going to shoot more threes this season, and you've seen it so far in the first 2 games. 15 threes in a game is crazy. 7 rebounds, 4 assists from him. And off the bench, you had Nas Reed, 19 points, 6 of 10 from the field, 4 for 7 from three, 13 rebounds for Nas Reed. And Dante DiVincenzo chipped in 9 points, as well as Alexander. Listen, 20 for 50 from three is crazy from Minnesota. Minnesota knows what they got to do. It's a copycat league. These guys are trying to keep up with the world champions. If they want to become champion, I guess they feel like they got to shoot as many threes as possible, and they put up 50 of them joints tonight. I don't even do that on NBA 2K. I don't know how you go out there and shoot 86 shots, 50 of them 50 of them was threes. More than half of their shots was from three. That's bananas, but they did get the win over the Sacramento Kings. My boy DeMar DeRozan out there still giving buckets. Shout out to him for everything he did for the Chicago Bulls, but he still put up 26 points tonight, 7 for 18 from the field, and he gave you 8 rebounds. Sabonis, 24 points tonight, gave you 8 rebounds as well, 8 for 13 from the field, 3 for 4 from three from Sabonis. If Sabonis can hit that three consistently, watch out for the Sacramento Kings. Keegan Murray with 23 points, 5 for 10 from three, and then you had De'Aaron Fox with 15 points, 6 for 14 from the field. Kevin Huerter was just 1 for 4 from the field with 2 points off the bench. Malik Monk, who would have been the 6th man of the year last season if he didn't get hurt toward the end, and went to Nas Reed, but he had 17 points. I really enjoy watching Malik Monk play basketball. They just didn't have enough to get over that hump. They took 29 threes, made 11 of them, 82 shots, made 38 of them. But it was a good game. It came down to the wire. We didn't get overtime. You know me, I always want to see extra basketball. They just couldn't get it. Get a good basket, a good shot. They did take a good shot, actually. I think Keegan Murray's last shot went in and out. It was a 3, though, so it would have won the game. Didn't go down. Minnesota improves to 1-1. They both of their games were on the road, so their next game is going to be at home. And I'm pretty sure the Minnesota fans are excited to see their team. All right, so we'll get to a couple of the comments, man. We're going to try to do this as often as possible. Out of the whole gang, I'm the one who works late, so I'll come home from work. I usually get home between 12 and 1 o'clock. on weekdays. So I will be jumping on for after hours discussions. Y'all come kick it with me, man. Hit me up in the comment section and we can talk about all the games, not all of them, but any of the games that you guys want to discuss. I got League Pass, so I do check out as many games as possible. Nas says, "What's up, Kev? What up, Nas? Good to see you, my guy. Good to see you." Nas Reed, nice win. I was saying what up to Nas right above you, but yeah, Nas Reed definitely did his thing. R Dub Chi-Town says Clay is not a splash brother anymore, but he's still a sniper. Yeah, man, people wrote him off last season. He was coming back from injury a couple of seasons ago, and the Golden State Warriors just aren't what they used to be, and he still shot 40% from three. And you just can't ignore something like that. He does have a lot left in the tank. And it's going to be up and down for him in Dallas, too. I don't expect him to go out there and put up 25 points a game every night, but I do expect him to be a capable shooter and a capable role player for this team. He still has enough to get over the hump. Josh Alstrom. Some of the moves he was putting out tonight were filthy. You talking about Nas Reed? Yes, sir. Joker had a Joker type game, but the Thunder were too much. Yeah, Wutage. And honestly, he needed some help. And if Jamal Murray isn't out there, if they're not having a 1-2 punch with him and then Kevin Porter Jr. Giving them that third scoring option, they're just not going to do good, man. And honestly, all the threes that they missed, like all the threes that they missed were crazy. Let me go back to it real quick. These Mogs, like Oklahoma City didn't shoot well from three either, but 8 for 36. Oh, no, that was them. So they were 7 for 39 from three. That's less than 20%. I could have went out there and missed some threes. Like it was one person was Westbrook was 1 for 6, another person was 0 for 4. I could have went out there and missed 4 threes. Pay me to miss some threes. Yes, sir, Wutage. It was we having Spirit Week at my job, so I just decided it was like you can dress from your favorite decade. Some people came in dressed in 1970s garb. Some people were dressed in 80s. I came in the 90s, so I had my MTV you did going on. I never got a chance to go to spring break. I used to love watching the spring break celebrations on MTV when I was younger, man. I was like, man, I can't wait till I go to college so I can go to spring break. But by the time I got to college, it just wasn't as popular anymore. None of those things. That and some other things that was cool in the 90s just wasn't cool in the 2000s. But all right, man. Klay Thompson looking good, man. Let us know how y'all know if y'all watching this later. Let us know how y'all felt about a couple of these new guys on different teams in the comments. How y'all feeling about the Dallas Mavericks and Klay Thompson? How you feeling about OKC? Do they have what it takes to make it all the way to the finals? Because these guys look really good, man. Shea Gilt SGA is a stud, bro. He is a stud, and they didn't even have Hartenstein tonight. Can Chet Holmgren keep it up? Because boy, oh boy, he looked dominant out there tonight versus Jokic and those guys. But all right, man, it's your boy Big Bro. Y'all already know how we get down. Slide back in here tomorrow for the daily. Of course, it's going to be one of us, whether it's myself or Hayes, Bobby C. Dub, or Steve O Speaks. And then, of course, y'all already know the Chi-Town Sports family. You got Chicago Bulls Central, Bears Central, Sky Central, Blackhawk Central, the new White Sox Central, Chicago Cubs Central, and then, of course, over here, NBA Central and the Shot Bulls podcast with C-Dub and Bobby. Live call for the game tomorrow. But C-Dub does a great job calling the Chicago Bulls game. Chicago takes on Milwaukee, I believe, tomorrow in Milwaukee. And then they also have the OKC Thunder on Saturday for their home opener. So Bulls are going to see OKC this weekend. And, of course, we will be live for all of those events. And then, of course, Sunday for Chicago Bears Central, the Bears taking on the Washington Commanders. All right, y'all. It's your boy, Big Bro. We're going to holler at you guys next time. I'll see you all tomorrow night when I get home from work to recap tomorrow's games. Peace.